podcast. A couple of things I want to shout out Noah for coming on today. We're going to get into the discussion with him. But before we get going, I sound probably like a bag of shit today. It's because I'm kind of coming down or coming up, I guess, with a cold. Working some coughing out. I got cough drops and tea being delivered to me while I'm sitting here chatting. So I just want to make sure that I hit the nail on the head early on and say that it may not be my best performance here when it comes to audio acuity. But either way, here nonetheless. And again, want to thank our partners over at First Form for hooking us up with all of our stuff, our favorite supplements. If you guys want to code, let us know. We actually just partnered recently with a cookie company that makes protein cookies as well. So if you guys want to get your hands on some protein cookies, let us know. And we'll be able to send you guys that information. Sweet Perfections is the company down out of Tampa, run by a good friend, Hannah. So really excited to continue to work with them. But without further ado, let's get Noah going here, man. So Noah, tell me a little bit about you. Although I know, tell the people. And let's go origin story, kind of as far back as you want to go, and hit it. Let's get after it.
So I grew up playing hockey. Then in high school, switched to springboard diving. Dove all through college. Was nationally ranked. Got second on the 3 meter my sophomore year. Then after college, kind of fell out of the athletics. Ended up getting in a pretty bad motorcycle accident. Broke both my legs, and that has brought me here.
Geez. First of all, and you're from and born and raised where? Yeah, Michigander. So for anybody else who loves being in the cold, Noah's your guy. And yeah, just a huge sports background. You have siblings and anything like that kind of affected your upbringing a little bit?
Yeah, so I had an older sister. I have a younger brother and a youngest sister. Me and my younger brother are a year and a half apart, so we were best friends all growing up. Always played against each other.
You were scrapping on the ice, I'm
all
sure,
that fun stuff.
Who won?
Yeah,
was it you or him?
Definitely gotten a few wrestling matches here and there.
Oh wow.
It was pretty 50-50.
My
We're
brother,
about the same size, so
I don't know if he's ever going to hear this, so I can have plausible deniability if he doesn't, and he probably won't. But he used to wrestle with me, and he's a year and a half older than me. And when we would get after it together, he would always beat me. He was bigger than me for like forever, and and I distinctly remember when he would like pin me, I would end up going over and, tapping out, obviously, reluctantly. And then as he's walking away, I'd just be like, yeah, bitch, walk away. And then inevitably he would come back and make me tap out again. So that's my, I never really learned my lesson. Maybe that's younger brother syndrome or something to that effect. But yeah, can definitely relate to having a sibling that's a year and a half apart, somebody you're competing with, around all the time, and then to spend, that's cool. It's a cool thing to do. And dude, talk about totally different athletics, right?
Like, absolutely.
You went from playing hockey to then going and diving. That's pretty incredible. Talk about that a little bit, and then maybe talk about a little bit of how we got connected too.
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up, like I said, I played hockey, and then during the summer we had I don't know how to describe it. It was kind of a summer trailer. So we'd go there. It was along a lake. So we'd go play there, and I would always jump off the dock, see how many flips I could do, this, that, and the other, just goof around. And then in middle school, I did both diving and hockey, but I had to make the decision to choose one or the other because the way hockey works is you go up through a certain level and then you join your high school. And they happen to be at the same time. So I wasn't able to do both because they were the same season. Ironically, I had chosen hockey, but my parents, through some convincing from one of my old teammates, his mom was the goalie for the 2000, no, I can't remember what year.
Hell
Was the
yeah.
goalie for the U.S. Olympic team that won gold in the early 2000s. So super cool that we even know her. But she said it would have been an obvious choice, and of course, my parents thought that she was going to say that it was going to be hockey. She said diving, strictly because you can play hockey all your life and you don't ever see anybody diving. So even though I chose hockey, ended up diving through all high school. Um, yeah, it just sheer sheer luck and I guess natural ability that led me to be successful in this sport, because typically the transition path is you start off in gymnastics, and then if you're too bruised battered from gymnastics, because that is a brutal sport on your body, that's typically the route that everybody takes. So for me to be kind of an odd duckling, to not have any proper background, was pretty cool. um, And then yeah, dove through high school, got recruited out to Colorado Mesa. Um, Went out there, dove all 4 years
Yeah.
there,
And then
and yeah.
Noah and I got connected. I forget how exactly, through, I think probably through our Instagram social media stuff, and um, you know, trying to get back into athletics. Talk a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about that kind of journey from, you were diving, you were part of a team, you're doing all this stuff, as you're going up and doing it. And then what happens when you graduate high school or college sports and athletics, and your sports career there inevitably ends. Talk a little bit about that transition, and then things that you were looking to get out of a program as you're kind of like in your adult life now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, anybody who's been in college athletics knows that it's grueling. It's all year round, even though the season's not. Um, so just I was so used to training, through the school year, two a days, and then through the summer, one a days. So it was just such a big part of my life. And then when that ended, I felt a little lost, like was missing something. Um, just I kept trying to fill the void, doing different activities, trying to keep myself as busy as possible. Um, I was never really one to just go to a gym and work out just because. I really felt like I needed a structured uh, something to help me, give me a direction of where to go. And that, and then I had my accident, and then through physical training or physical therapy, excuse me, um, really gave me the sense of urge again to continue to work out after I graduated for that. I did end up seeing a clip on Instagram, which brought me to Blue Chip, um, message Blaze, and then did a few
Yeah. Talk.
interviews,
How
and
long were you doing
now I'm 6 months into
PT
it.
after the accident? Like, how long was that process? And then what was the transition phase like when I mean, I know we've talked about it before, but you were essentially learning how to walk again, weren't you?
Hmm. Yep. So from the date of
Holy
my
shit,
accident
man.
to my first steps was 200 days. Um, the So I was able to get surgery right away on one of my legs. So physical therapy started with that pretty quickly. I was doing physical therapy for that leg starting in, I want to say, October. And then that went all the way through, I think the end of May was my last physical training date. And then for my right foot was a little quicker after the surgery in October.
I mean,
So
that's like
after that,
7-ish months,
probably about the same.
dude. Yeah, super long time.
Yep. Yeah. It's
How did
quite a long
that?
time.
I've got a million questions, but how did that affect you, like, mentally? Like, I feel like, your I think about, like, yeah, the physical part of, like, not being able to walk, that would be tough, like seeing, whatever, but, like, I feel like the mental part is something that a lot of people don't really, like, recognize and grapple with until you're kind of in it. Like, so how was that for you, like mentally, just being like able to continue to work towards that and kind of address the fact that you can't move the way that you want to for a bit, and you gotta kind of take it easy and get into it slowly. Yeah, fuck.
It was very demoralizing. Just not even gonna try and put it lightly. The Everything being ADA compliant with all these wheelchair ramps is a load of crap. Um, I'm grateful that they're there, but they are nowhere where they need to be. It was just so inconvenient to just go anywhere in a wheelchair, especially with how I was. My legs were sticking straight out, so I didn't even get to put them in. So making corners and
What a nightmare.
everything, pretty much had to 3-point turn everything. Yeah, it was, yeah, yeah, it was brutal. I mean, the bathroom in my parents' house I couldn't even use, so we had a little portable potty, I guess, stuck in another room. And yeah, just
Yeah, and
not
what
fun at all. Just kind of stuck to
talk to me
yourself
about
all
like
day.
support
It was
from like friends and or family. Like how was that throughout the whole process?
very grateful for my parents because I moved back in with my parents and stayed at their house so they could take care of me. Thankfully, my mom was able to work from home. Uh, Friends were a huge uptick for it. Just having them stop by randomly when they were just happened to be passing through, just to come say hi, hang out for a few minutes, talk shop. It was
Yeah.
Those were definitely the highlights of my
Um,
days for
and
sure.
you were working during this whole rehab time too? Like, talk to me about, or actually, I don't think you mentioned, I know what you do, but tell everybody else what you do, because I think it's pretty cool too to kind of highlight that.
Yeah, so thankfully my bosses over at Sinclair Recreation, we design and install playgrounds. So I'm a designer myself. They were very gracious through this whole thing. Very thankful to them. Um, Once I got to a point where I could sit and have my legs level for a while without them hurting, just because the blood pouring into my feet was super painful. So having them elevated was 9/10 of my day. Once I was able to be mobile and stay in my chair for a significant amount of time, they allowed me to go back and work and just go there for a while, about half days here and there.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I know that like you talk about, having support, whether that's like social support or support from a company. Um, it's like just so key and important for your own mental health, like
Hmm.
we talked about before, just being able to kind of make it through that tough time. Um, yeah, and then I think too, we talked a bunch about
Absolutely.
as you're changing over to, you know, rehab to beyond, you were like, hey, I want to now make the transition and start to build some sort of a training regimen. And I know that you're still playing sports now. So talk about how those things kind of pair together. Talk about how like you start going from rehab, graduating out of physical therapy, and then now you're like back in recreational sport as an adult, and now you want to kind of improve that, make sure that you're able to compete there and move kind of pain free, and talk through some of those wins, successes, and then challenges that
Hmm.
you've kind of had in that kind of transition.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I graduated physical therapy, it was very much they were to the point where it was we have done as much as we can do. Um, so you just need to continue to live and do the things you want to do in order to get stronger. And I had thought originally that that was going to work out. So went back to playing disc golf at the time. I don't really play too much anymore, but back to playing disc golf and then started to ice skate again. I am in a men's league as of currently. Um, Started to do those things and just still felt super weak and I felt like I needed something else. So that's what kind of led me to search even further for something to do, something to fill that void of the weakness I was still getting and or still having, and trying to build
Yeah, and what
strength in a
I
productive
love
way.
getting highlights from you of you scoring Genos like I got the other day. Um just making guys look silly out there on the ice. I would love to be able to take credit for that too, but I know I can't do that at all. Um but yeah, like since you started to do some like physical programming and also like the nutrition component of training, which I think a lot of people kind of neglect. How have you seen your progress
Hmm.
change? And what are your current goals now, too? I guess we can chat about that also.
Yeah. Nutrition was something I had definitely overlooked. When we were talking, I didn't even know nutrition was a part of it until you brought it up. Um, I 100% am on board with needing to fuel the body in order to progress. It's a huge aspect. Some goals I have as of right now is both for my strength. I mean, just continue to get stronger. I don't want to put a concrete goal of lifting X amount or something like that, because then I feel like once you hit those goals, it's like, then what? So just continuing to better myself and push myself in the workouts, I think is just my continuous goal. And then as for the nutrition aspect, I've always been trying to gain weight, and it's been slow
Yeah, what are
going,
you
but
up so
it's still
far?
going, which is huge. I'm up
Yeah,
to
that's awesome. And
10 to
6 months,
15
10 to
pounds,
15
depending
pounds
on the
of lean
day.
muscle mass is crazy.
Yep.
For anybody that is listening, I feel like that is, I mean, it's over a pound a month, potentially two, and that's that's a lot, depending on if you poop that morning, obviously.
Hmm.
um No, it's incredible, man.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think too, I fell into the trap in my early days training and doing all that stuff of setting those goals, setting the weight goals and all those other things, and whether it was vanity driven or ego driven training at the time. And then that exact thing happened. I like finally did the bench squat deadlift, trifecta of weights that I wanted. And then I was sitting there and I was 40 pounds heavier than I should be. I couldn't move at all. I couldn't play any sports at all. And then I'm like, now what am I going to do? Like, I don't even recognize the person that's in the mirror. I'm not doing anything I enjoy.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
I knew that I had to make a pretty big change. And it's pretty wise. I feel like that you've kind of come to that conclusion already, and you're just kind of trying to fuel the things that you do enjoy. It's pretty cool to see. So tell me too about like how you've adopted, because I know that we nerd out. I don't know if you saw yesterday that I hit the links and was like, oh dude, check it out. But uh talk about like your journey, like getting into the golf
Yeah.
space,
Yep.
because we've just started to really start to hone in on like, hey, I realize that there's a void in the golf community of people that don't necessarily know how to move, and there's like a ton of people struggling with lower back pain, hip mobility issues that are limiting their swing speed, how much they can actually like coil up to be able to swing a golf club. And then you've actually been a
Hmm.
bit of a we'll call it a test dummy for our golf strength and mobility program. So tell me a little bit about like your entrance into golf, and then how you've seen like the ability to move and train help your game.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been golfing on and off since middle school. I was on the our high school golf team. Just was the worst of our team. Never went to any tournaments, anything. I just counted it as free golf after school. Um, didn't really play a whole lot through college, and then picked it like played maybe once or twice a year, and then as of last year decided to take it a little more serious. Um, yeah, I mean, for the strength aspect of it, and that's honestly one of the ads that I saw that brought me to you was a golf related ad. Um, I was
I
having
don't know what that
some
means.
niggles,
You're gonna
I
have to
guess you
define
could
that for
say,
me.
on in my back.
Like
I have to
nagging
Google what it
issues or
means.
pains or aches. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Some
Sorry, I'm not too smart, man.
yeah,
Remember,
yeah,
I
yeah,
I
yeah.
I
Yeah,
fly planes and they
that's what a
put monkeys
niggle
in
is.
space, and I teach burpees for a living. So you got to remember that.
Yeah, just like little nagging pains. Kind of in my back from my shoulders and everything, and I knew it was strength related because it was strictly muscle, and I could massage it out and it was fine. But just kind of wanted to go away. Uh, my buddy who played baseball growing up hits the ball 1.5 miles, and I don't. So wanted to build a little strength, get a little distance off the tee, kind of just make golf easy, I guess, in the sense of swinging a club and not having to worry about, oh, is it going to hurt today or not? Um, so yeah, the as a testament to the golf program, my golf season typically is the first half of the year is just building my strength back up because I don't do anything in the winter, and then by the end of the year, I can play more confidently. And the first couple rounds I've had out, I've felt like an end of the season me, just strength wise and everything, distances and whatnot. So I'm super stoked that I don't have to go through
Nice,
the
man. Yeah,
painful get back
let's be
into it
honest, like
phase.
any dude out there, like let's call a duck, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. Like everybody wants to hit the ball far, dude. Like there's no dude out there that's not like, "Oh, my buddy can hit the ball 400 yards and I'm
Absolutely.
totally cool with hitting it like 180." Like that's just not the case. Every dude wants to like get up there and what do they say? You
Right.
drive for
Yeah.
show and you putt for dough, Like everybody wants to be able to just nuke a ball off the tee.
Yeah.
And although we are not, I want to make sure that we make this clear too. We are not like contact hitting coaches. Like I struggle to hit the ball just like everybody else in golf. But you know what I don't struggle to do is I don't struggle with lower back pain, and I don't struggle to when I do make solid contact actually hit the ball really, really well. So all those things in consideration, I want to help and make sure that other people can have those same things and be able to continue to play and play longer and play more effectively throughout the rest of their life. And that's really, I think, the key to think about is like, hey, golf is one of those like lifetime sports, like very few sports that I feel like, especially, as a kid that you're playing and you can like continue to play. I'm actually super envious that you played golf in high school. I feel like I like totally missed like the word that I feel like every like 30-year-old person is just like, fuck man, like why am I such an idiot and I didn't like play golf when I was a kid growing up, or play more. But yeah, just realizing
Yep.
like, hey, you
Yep.
can play this game for as long as you can walk, and like God forbid that's like well into your 80s, and this is something that like, hey, you get to go out. One, you get to hang out with your buddies. Two, you get to make nickel bets on the course, which what is any better than that, right? And then three, you get to like continue to like talk shit and hang out with friends, which let's be honest, man, all dudes, you know, again, call a duck, need to like an excuse to hang out with their friends. You can't just be like, oh yeah, let's just like, we're just gonna hang out and sit around and stare
Yeah,
at each other.
absolutely.
Like, no, like dudes need like a venue, a thing to be doing, some sort of excuse when we all know that we just want to hang out with our buddies and have
Yes.
some of that connection. But it's just so critical to be able to build it around something. And I feel like golf is just such a effective means to the end there. Yeah. What do you think,
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
to Michigan, it's April 26th today. The season's probably still pretty chilly up there, no? Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was 44 this morning. Yeah, but Monday's supposed to be 74, and then the rest of the week is supposed to be in the 40s, and then
You
it's supposed to
better
warm back up
you
in the
better tell the
weekend. So
bosses that you are not
we'll
showing
see.
up to
So
build
bipolar
playgrounds
here.
this week and you're going to hit the links, dude. You better let them know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What, or you could just make like mobile meetings,
We'll
mobile
figure out a
meetings.
time.
Um, dude, yeah, how cool. How cool. Tell me too, like, living up there,
hmm
I'd like to think that hockey is just such a huge thing. Tell me about your men's league experience and like how a lot of your training and programming has transitioned your hockey game, because you've been playing hockey prior to injury, post injury, and then like now into what we'll call like a
Yeah,
building and like program state. Tell me how those things have kind of blended together and how your strength and mobility have changed your ability to compete.
absolutely. I find it very interesting actually to compare myself from where I was to where I am currently. I feel like my strength is considerably better. My cardio, I feel like I'm still working on quite a bit compared to what it was. For reference, when I was in college, I did a lot of mountain biking. I was in the mountains. So I had fantastic cardio, coming from elevation and this, that, and the other. And then sitting in a wheelchair for, 4 months kind of killed everything I did have. Um, but so strength is definitely there. My speed, I feel like I'm as fast as, if not faster than where I was. And then other than a couple um plate related issues in my one of my ankles, turns, cuts, starts, stops, I feel are just as good as well. So to have come back, so November was a year of skating again. So a year and a half ish where I'm at now. To be where I was, I don't think I could have done that by myself. I think it would still have taken 3 years, even if I was able to get back to where I was. So I'm very stoked. It's fun to see my strength progress. And I was almost as fast as this guy, and now I can skate faster than him. And so it's a lot of fun to
Yeah, minor
compare myself
setback for major
lightly
comeback, dude.
to
It's
other
awesome.
people.
Um, so the accident happens, and it was
Absolutely.
a motorcycle accident, correct? Yeah. So, and now you're back on the bike, dude.
Yep.
Talk about that. Like, holy shit. There's some people that I know. You get to the position where you're breaking both legs, and then they're like, "There's no way I'm going to do this again." Talk about like your love
Hmm.
for riding. Why you wanted to go down and go get another bike. Like, talk about that a little bit, because I'm pretty interested to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's completely risk versus reward. That's basically what it comes down to. Is to me the reward is far outweighs the risk. I mean, now that I've gone through a pretty severe accident, and even though I got off relatively easy for what my accident was, um, it it really opened my eyes. And I mean, sitting in a wheelchair, it's like all I want to go do is go ride, go enjoy the sun. You know, it it's just such a passion of mine that it's hard for me to put into words. I just don't imagine a life without me riding at this point. Um, An actually funny story is the bike I bought after my accident. I was still in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk when I
Just good
bought it.
plans. Just good planning right there.
Um,
And then
so
talk about the new one, dude. Talk about the
yeah,
new
yep,
whip. I know you've
yep.
gotten out at least a small handful of times. I saw a couple of photos out there. You said dream bike for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was actually just scrolling through my photos the other day, and I found a screenshot of it from, I think it was 2022. Um, just had seen it, and took a screenshot of it. This is what I want to get, type thing, and here it is. It's a 2023 Ducati Street Fighter V2 for any of you gearheads. Um, to me, it's the perfect bike. So my first bike, I wouldn't say it's my first bike. The bike I crashed on was a Yamaha R6. So it's a super sport bike. It's crotch rocket. Um, then the bike I bought after my accident was a dirt bike that I made street legal. And to me, I loved both aspects of the sport, of the hobby. Kind of just cruising, having fun on the supermoto, but also love taking the corners on the R6. So to get a bike that's pretty much the mix between the two is fantastic. It's everything I could ever ask for. And your handful of rides
Dude, You've been
Point, I've put
cruising then.
500 miles on it already.
Um,
Yep. It's currently sitting, so I bought the bike with
oh, one
450
away,
on it.
dude.
It's
One
currently
away
sitting
from
at
quad digits.
999.
Yeah, we actually have that in common too. I've been
Yeah.
riding dirt bikes and motorcycles since I was a young kid. I don't currently have a motorcycle now. I sold my last one because
Mm-hmm.
I had it for a year and I put like 150 or 200 miles on it. So you'd probably scoff at me and be like, dude, what the hell? Um, the riding out here in California, like in and around Sacramento, is just mayhem. So it would have probably taken like 45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half for me to like
Yeah.
get somewhere that I would actually want to be on the bike. And then at that point, it's like, dude, I got to be gone like literally all day long
Absolutely.
to be able to like get out and enjoy this. So it just wasn't time for me, unfortunately. But I cannot agree more, dude. Like we had some of our best moments, and I'll tell this brief story. Um, so my pops, my brother, and I used to all go dirt bike riding like all the time. And when I was a kid, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we would go, we'd ride for a couple hours, and then we'd take a pit stop to like eat lunch or hang out, for a bit. And I'll never forget this. And they may actually not even remember, but we used to stand in like a line, like all three of us, like boom, boom, boom. And then we would see who could pee the furthest. We would like have this contest of like we would sit there and just be like, dude, who's got the most distance on the pee? And how funny was that? That like as a kid, like those are the things that I like that stick with me and that I remember. Like never really remember like us like scrapping for money or food or anything like that, which we definitely were because we're not in the best like financial situation. But I do remember us going out there on little dirt bikes on a random Saturday
Yep.
and seeing who could pee the furthest. It's like as a group. Oh man, super funny, super funny. um yeah, cool, man. I'm curious to hear too, like
Oh yeah.
what is next for you, like this job of working in the playground space, like and then moving into this athletic thing, like are you thinking that you're going to stick with this stuff, or what's the kind of Noah goal for 5 years, 10 years down the line?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that at least for myself, continuing to have a regimen is such a stiff word, but I kind of have a plan in place of, hey, you should do this, you should eat this, you should is such a big thing for me. I feel like if I didn't have something, um, you know, to kind of push me a little bit, I just kind of fall back into the old me and eat whatever, not really work out, kind of feel like a pile of nothing. Um, so definitely plan on sticking with it for at least quite a while. Don't have a reason to stop. Um, and just continuing just to better myself, be stronger, be more fit, feel better, have more
Yeah, would you
energy.
say that
Just the things
your
everybody else wants.
physical training and nutrition and those things have yielded to that? We haven't really touched on that a ton, but like, how is that piece, whether like mentally, physically, sleep related, whatever, how has that yielded to other aspects of your life, whether that's socially, in the workplace, maybe like your relationships with family? Like, talk to me about that type of stuff.
Yeah. At least for feeling and how I am doing, I completely notice when I eat well versus when I don't, when I do work out versus when I don't. It is such a I know I haven't been great on working out, but uh I can definitely feel it and it definitely makes me want to continue to do so. Just such a good feeling. Relationships with everybody is well. I think it's really nice for them to see progress in myself, especially for my mom. So she's been a runner for all of my life, and currently she's going through some hip issues, going through aging. It's a thing, unfortunately. Um, so to see her reaction to me getting better and stronger and more fit, I definitely think has lit a fire underneath her, which is super cool for me to see that, something that I chose to do is affecting somebody else in a positive way. Um, and then, I mean, even in little day to day things, have to move this, have to move that, pick something up. It's less strenuous, have more energy for it. I sleep better. Not that I really had an issue with sleep to begin with, but it's all been it's all been positive, which really has kind of struck me because doing 2-a-days through college and everything, there were days where you just feel awful and just from working out and training and this, that, and the other. So to have, to feel good at any given day, it's like I'm not worried about, oh, I'm working out today, so tomorrow I'm going to be sore and feel awful. It's like, no, I feel great. I'm going to continue to do what I do and continue to work out, and it doesn't bother me in a negative way at all, which is
Yeah, I feel like
huge. It was
you've
a big
built
surprise
over
and
the
very
past,
thankful for
6 months
that.
plus, you've started to build like a lot of body awareness and like kind of just awareness of like, how you're feeling, what you're looking to do, and
Hmm.
then kind of translational like improvement of like, hey, I can now like pick up X, Y, or Z a lot easier. And I've even gotten those messages from you where I'm like, oh dude, like that's so great. Like even just like carrying groceries. And you want to talk about like inspiring the older generation, like how cool is that, dude? Like how long in your life, and I'll say this for anybody who's someone's like kid, is like, were you inspired by your folks or your guardians of like what
Hmm.
they were doing? So maybe they influence you to get into building playgrounds. Maybe they influence you into, playing a sport or doing whatever. And then now, you're in like what I'll call like, past your first quarter of your life. And now you're able to almost do the opposite where you're influencing them. You're bringing some sort of value add, or you're changing the trajectory of their life, because realistically what they see in you, they see like a youthful version of them. And then they're going to be like, dude, I want to be around to be able to move and do these
Hmm.
things with my kids for as long as possible. And that's another big goal of what we do here is like, imagine, you're like your mom, she's a runner, right? A life where your mom is unable to run is like
Yeah.
saddening. Like that's something that like the reality is like, how awful would that be to like find your thing that just really like gives you life and takes you, to a place where you get runner's high, or the whole rest of the world kind of melts away and you can kind of get in your flow zone. And then imagine that being like ripped away from you. And I think that if you were able to kind of conceptualize and understand like, hey, if you're moving well, if you're eating well, and you find a way to like incorporate these things and have a coach that's going to program these things for you to be able to get you there, it just helps you kind of look, move, feel your best, and continue to do the things you love with people that you enjoy. Because like at the end of the day, what else is anything worth? So it's super cool that you've seen like the opposite effect of like you're now affecting her, and seeing that kind of full circle, if you will.
Hmm.
And hopefully you've gone on a run with her. Have you guys gone out and gone on a little scamper together, or what?
No, she
What is she? Is she an ultra
no,
runner
she
too?
runs
Because
too far for me.
didn't you go to a race not too long ago?
Yep. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, my younger sister ran a 50K, which is 30 miles. She did
Moving.
it in 6 hours and 45 minutes through the desert of Colorado. Absolutely insane.
Let's remember
Completely
too,
nuts.
like watching
Different
somebody
type of
run for
people.
6
I'm not
hours
one
is
of
like
them.
watching paint dry or grass grow, right? Like, yeah. I hope you just hung out at the
Yeah,
finish
it
line and
was.
be like, hey, dude, let me know when you're like, you know, an hour away from here, and I'll like come and pace you or hang out. But
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Me, my dad, and one of her friends, we went to McDonald's in between where she was, she started. We went to McDonald's, got breakfast, went to a training station. We're sitting there eating our McDonald's as she's running by completely gassed. So
Yeah,
it's kind
I
of funny
told
to
somebody the other
think
day,
about
and
it
I
that
think it
way,
really
but
rings true for me, that my toxic trait is like seeing somebody suffer and like being jealous of them a little bit. So I would have been you, and I would have been like, oh dude, I should be like running right now. Like I don't know why I'm not like out there just suffering with her. Um I don't know why. I don't know why that thing exists in me.
Mhm.
Maybe some sort of past trauma that has not been dealt with properly. But I definitely like am envious of people that are able to kind of put their boots to a goal, especially like that, like ultra running, dude. You want to talk about like prep? Holy shit, man. I mean, they're like the
It
running
is
that you're doing,
insane.
the mileage that you're putting on your body in like a week,
Yeah,
the recovery that you really need to be doing to be successful. Um, eating well, understanding how to fuel in a race, like holy shit, man.
oh
Dude, it
yeah,
totally is. It's I've heard what
it's a
some
full-time
people that are
job.
training for like Ironmans and stuff, they're like the Ironman trainers or trainees, I guess. They're like, yeah, if you're not getting divorced from a partner, you're probably not training hard enough or,
Yep.
or whatever they say. Which is just insane. I mean, it kind of dominates your life. And I'd say a lot of ultra runners I know, I mean, they're going out on the weekend and they're going for a 4 or 5 hour scamper. Maybe it's not fast, but you're gone a lot from people, and it takes a big support network. So kudos to your sister, dude. Yeah, and your mom. I bet she was
Absolutely.
inspired by her to do that, huh?
Absolutely.
Your mom was?
She was so upset she wasn't running the race. Just every time, yeah, every time my sister would go past, she goes, "I want to be running. I should be
Yeah,
running."
tell her. What's
Take it easy.
has she not been able to run because of her hip issues, or is it something that she's like working through and able to continue to do?
She runs a lot less frequently than what she used to. She's working through it currently. It's just her body's finally starting to give up. Um, just some muscles just can't be happy anymore in her hips. I don't know too much about it. I just know that it bothers her and prevents her from
Yeah, what do they say in
running to
Top
her
Gun? They're
fullest
like, "You're
extent, or
writing
at least
checks
what
your
she
body
wants
can't
to.
cash." Oh yeah.
Absolutely. That
Well,
is
I hope she starts to
exactly
get
what it
better and
is.
kind of work on those things. I know that challenging that can be. Um, Thankfully, you got the know-how, dude. You can give her some hip mobility stuff
Mm-hmm.
that you've been doing that'll help out. Yeah, yeah. Cool,
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
I really
Absolutely.
appreciate you popping on. I don't we don't get to do this very often, especially with people that we work with. And I just want to shout out you for for
Yeah.
your trust in us. Like I think I told you this when you first signed up to work with us. I was like, you're trusting us with like your most important asset. It's your health, like the way that your body looks, moves, and feels. If everything else wipes off the face of planet Earth, it's like that and your relationships with other people. And I just am very, very thankful that you trusted us with those things. You're a part of our community, and I really love working with you and watching your progress. Honestly, like I can take no credit in anything that you've done and accomplished. I just want to say, like you've shown up, you've continually gotten better, improved. You're pushing yourself in ways that I don't know if you even thought were possible, and being able to bounce back from double leg fractures, wheelchair for 4 months, and then being out there and skating, and not only skating, but skating better than you ever have before, back on the bikes, getting over whatever mental block
Mm-hmm.
could have even existed there. I mean, it's really remarkable to see. So kudos to you, man. I'm excited to continue to watch you grow, continue to put weight on. 10 to 15 pounds has been awesome to see. Yeah, and it's just super humbling. So thank you again, man.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
say it to you enough. Cool, man. All right. We'll chat
I
soon.
appreciate
For
it.
you
Thank
guys
you.
that were
It's been a
listening,
pleasure.
if you stuck with us this long, drop us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it. It helps the show grow. And then if any of Noah's family are listening up to this, make sure you go and get his ass out there in the gym or go for a run with him, Mom, and make sure that he's able to make it happen. We will see you guys next week. Looking forward to getting on some more guests similar to Noah that have a great story about their journey with health and wellness. And until next time, you don't stop playing. You get old because you stop playing. Peace.